try to peel India away from closer relationship with China and, God forbid, Russia. Do you think that's going well? And how does this kind of thing,
the way to think about it is we share an interest in a world that is peaceful, stable and prosperous, and what is required for that sort of world is, a balance or a strategic equilibrium to which all of us have to make a contribution, and India is a part of that, but so too are other countries of our region, in the Indo-Pacific region, and we will continue as Australia to work with a range of countries to contribute to that equilibrium, which is really key to making sure there is a region and a global order in which no one country dominates and no country is dominated.
So that obviously brings us to the threat from China as you perceive it, that it's trying to dominate that region.
Well, I think great powers do what great powers do. So I wouldn't use the language, but you obviously use your language.
So how is the deterrence working then?
Yeah, it seems to us that the way in which you contribute to that strategic equilibrium is really to ensure you have military deterrence, also economic strength and resilience, as well as diplomatic reassurance. So all of those go to that balance or reshaping, I think, as you described it in the introduction.
Yeah. Is that message getting across to China? I mean, we see, strange developments. The foreign minister is being sidelined. The defense minister has disappeared from public view. Lots of shifts at the top of the Chinese hierarchy. How do you read what's going on there? I mean, it is inscrutable, but you must have analysis.
Well, look, I've read and understood those developments, but obviously they're matters for China to deal with. But the nub of your question went to the management of competition. And we welcome the position that the United States has taken, and President Biden re-articulated it today, which was a commitment to responsible management of competition, because what we don't want, none of the world wants, competition escalating into conflict. And I think powers like Australia, we're a middle power, all of the powers that are represented, the sovereign nations which are represented in the United Nations, have a role here too, which is to urge, encourage and expect the great powers to manage their competition wisely.
And I guess one last question then about the big picture of China. How do you assess, the Russian, North Korean, China, Iran kind of, whatever you want to call it, alliance, anti-democratic, anti-US alliance, and how much does it set back your attempts to deter China?
Well, I think it's important to recognise first that Mr. Putin reaching out to North Korea, for example, shows a degree of desperation. So I would make that point. The second point I'd make is the nations of the world who are not superpowers, and we're one of them, need to collectively continue to advocate, encourage, urge, perhaps put some collective pressure on great powers to act responsibly. And that's what we'll continue to do.